Welcome everybody to Fearless Chat, where we're going to be energizing. But before we energize, let's just do a little bit of grounding. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're just going to notice that you have arrived. And just notice what you can see on your screen now. And then take your gaze beyond your screen to another point in the room where you're sitting. And just allow your gaze to deepen and widen. And then from that position, take in the biggest, deepest breath you've taken all day, or if you're in Australia, all morning. Just noticing where you are and where you have arrived. And now, if it's available to you and you're comfortable in doing so, you can let your eyelids just rest, or you can stay gazing at something deep into your horizon as your fixed point of focus. Noticing now how your body feels, where it is in the space. Noticing now how your mind feels in this moment. And noticing now how your heart is beating in this moment. And just taking a breath for that, body, mind, and heart, and bring them together with a nice, big, deep breath. And then release and let go of anything that you do not want to keep, you do not need any longer, or you wish to release. You have all arrived in this moment to be with us in our fearless community. And we are separated by space. We are coming from Australia, New York, Miami, Colorado, Boston, San Francisco. We are separated by space, but we are connected in this moment. And in this moment, we are breathing together. So just take a breath or two and breathe that in. With our reality of our party rooms and our work rooms being mostly on Zoom, we have been spending a lot of time inside a small box. But now breathe into the possibilities of that box. How it can connect you across the globe. How it can connect you to people you've never been connected to before. How each week it brings our fearless community together. If you have returned to be with us again, we're so happy that you're here. If this is the first time that you've been with us, welcome to the fearless community and welcome to the fearless fire, where we gather in breath and intention to be together, to share, learn, and grow. So just breathe into that. In this moment, you are in your own space, but you are also in shared space with us here now. And we are so happy that you are here. Welcome to today's Fearless Chat.
Mute fail, mute fail. I was speaking with a fury. So elevated sparkleation, Deborah, thank you so much. We have this gesture in Fearless Communicators where we shake our hands, called elevated sparkleation, to show support and love. As people feel inspired or compelled and you're muted, feel free to give some spirit fingers, some love. Welcome to our Fearless Chat. My name is Eduardo Placer. I have the privilege of being the founder and of Fearless Communicators. We are a diverse, inclusive public speaking coaching business. We work with thought leaders on what they say and how they say it. And like all of us, found ourselves in mid-March, lost, confused, unsure of where to turn. I myself am currently in Miami Beach. I have been exiled from my home in New York for over 4 months. I don't know when I'm going to get back home. I'm currently in the middle of a COVID hotspot, and I'm not going to get on a plane, and I'm not going to quarantine for 2 weeks in my apartment in New York City. So I am currently here, grateful for shelter, food, all that other stuff. And in mid-March, what we did know that we could count on was the thought leadership and the expertise of our fearless family, of our clients, of our community, who are thinking about the things that the world was thinking about. And we immediately jumped in and offered these free fearless chats. This is now our 27th gathering. It's been unbelievable. Allison Davis, who's on our call, led one of our talks on sales and heart-centered sales. Linda Reed led a conversation around conflict and the power of communication. In that, I actually just got amazing feedback from someone who was able to navigate really difficult conversations with his in-laws in Germany, practicing the tools, Linda, that you shared on the call. Valerie Lyons also talked about networking and using power networking as a tool for racial justice and equity work. So again, leaning on our community to talk about the topics that were of most interest. We also acknowledge that we're in the midst of 3 different pandemics. There's COVID-19, there's institutional racism, and there's also mental health, which nobody's talking about. And I think is at the underbelly and very present in all the various ways that we are connecting and isolating at the same time. And I'm really excited, you know, kind of as a 5 p.m. or 8 a.m. palate cleanser, to introduce our host and featured presenter today, Johanna de Ruyter. Johanna de Ruyter is many things. She is also a public speaking coach. She's a theater professional. She's a body healer. She is a theater practitioner. She is a clown. She is many things, and the embodiment of moving communication and the power of moving communication. And Johanna is also a graduate and alumna of our Fearless Force program in Sydney, Australia. She's also training to be one of our facilitators there. She and Deborah are also hosting a whole new Fearless chat series in Australia called Moving Fearlessly, which we'll also talk about later, featuring our Australia talent. I'm just excited about how we can kind of break out of this little box that we're all trapped in, you know, and kind of expand our ability to connect and relate to each other. And I can think of no better person to do that than Johanna. So Johanna, welcome. It's so great to have you. Elevated sparkalation.
Thank you. I'll receive that.
And I'm
Thank you very much.
Spotlight to begin, and then we'll jump around.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. Wonderful to be here. So it's November 2019, and I'm in Shanghai. I've been sent to Shanghai to run a personal presence program with a group of professionals, and we're all crammed together in a small room to learn about personal presence, to learn about how to express yourself more, to learn about connecting with emotions, to share stories, to be aware of how status plays out in the body. And it's an intense couple of days, 2 full days, very intense. It's a bit challenging because it's working on an intimacy of being seen by each other. But at the end, everyone's very thankful, very energized, and has some real insight into how they show up and engage. And I have a great time in Shanghai. Jump to early March 2020, and I'm seeing my 3rd contract fall away, and another one falls away. Singapore, Hong Kong, Sydney. My client manager rings me and says, I've managed to save this. It's a 2-day program, a leadership program, but you'll have to bring it down to 2 3-hour sessions on Zoom. I take a deep breath in, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? How am I going to bring all this embodied expressive work into this? But I work with a colleague, and we start collaborating. Luckily, she has some experience in technology, and we pulled together a program, a 2-3 hour program using exactly what we did in the room on Zoom. We had people up, we had people playing, we had people expressing, and it worked. Whew. And I learned a lot from that experience. I learned a lot about the technology. I learned a lot about this translation into the room. And since then, I've done many Zoom engagements and events like we all have now. I've either attended these conferences. I was on an embodiment conference last week, and I've presented, I do open space. So I've learned a lot about this technology and how to apply it. And because the focus of a lot of my work, as Eduardo said, I've had a theatre background and in very expressive, not so much, the Shakespearean theatre. I've been much more interested in improvisation and clowning and mask and spontaneity. So because over the years I've translated those and applied them to communication through moving communication, I've been playing with this platform and really bending it towards that expressiveness, playfulness, connection, embodiment. How do we fill the screen? How do we get creative with this form, with this medium, pardon me? So my company name is Moving Communication, as Eduardo said, and a key focus of moving communication is the repositioning of the body into a central position of communication, and for a range of reasons, because it's an enormous resource that we often overlook within our cultural default, which is placing priority on the mind over the body. I think, therefore I am. Nay, I say, I be, therefore I am. I feel, therefore I am. I move, therefore I am. So this can also be located in a political frame, in fact, as the other to patriarchal norms and framework around, binary positioning, which does, definitely not tends to, it does bias the mind and rationality, structure, logic as ways to communicate. Bringing the body into communication brings a whole other dynamic. The body is often known as unruly, disruptive. It is the seat of our imagination. It is the seat of our stories. It is the seat of our feeling. It's a seat of our senses. And it can disrupt all of that. But when we work to align all of those, thinking, feeling, and moving, you can get, I believe, and I have seen that it brings a lot more dynamism, authenticity, engagement, clarity to communication. So just a little bit about my influences that I bring to this work. I work with a lot, as I said, with improvisation and what is commonly known in the improvisation world as applied improvisation. We apply the principles of improvisation. Theatre, I work with a form called playback theatre, storytelling, spontaneity, playfulness, mask, very powerful. I draw on embodiment practices. I have been a masseuse. I work a lot with the improvisation as a movement, action methodology. I'm a martial artist. I do yoga now and meditation. And I also draw on systems theory, the awareness of the complex web of interconnectivity and interrelationship, how interdependent we are and communication is. So that's a lot. That's a little bit about me and my background. But actually, this is about you and about moving away from, as I say, rationality and logic into playing around with how we bring in these elements of playfulness, story, and the body.
Johanna, there is so much jazz in everything that you said. I just want to give you so much elevated sparkulation. That is like a jazz queen. And I want to invite as we're going through, if you have a question, the chat is a great
Yes.
space to do that. And I'll have my
Yes.
eye on the chat and I'll feed those questions to Johanna. And I know this is going to be an engaged participatory workshop. So
Yep.
anyway, I just wanted to flag that for our participants, that again, the chat is a great space to offer questions, again, because you're bringing such a wealth of knowledge, Johanna.
Great. Thank you. Thanks. Thanks, Eduardo. That's a really great point. Yes. Where we'll move next, actually, I thought, yeah, just in terms of this presentation of the translation that we're exploring here, of all of what I've said onto the Zoom communication platform, I'm going to share a slide. Bear with me for one moment. And here we are. So just to give an overview of the complexity of this communication forum. As you can see, there's a lot here going on. And, you know, in the time we've got, of course, we can't explore all of it. I do that in other trainings, but just so you get this overview that, you know, oh, pardon me, what happened there? Oh, here we are. That in the center there is, you know, you and your preparation, you know, and that there's a lot, as you can see in that, the consultation with the client or whoever the audiences are, why you're there, what are the outcomes that they're wanting, you're wanting, everyone is wanting from the call, your role, you know, what is your role here? Are you a facilitator? Are you a collaborator? What is your role? The content creation, your intention, really being clear about what is your intention. And that, for me, I like to focus on intention in terms of what do I want people thinking about? What do I want people feeling? What do I want people doing? And then your inner state, preparing your inner state around intention and presence and those elements. Down the bottom here, I'm going to share this with you and send it afterwards. There's a great resource around inclusiveness on Zoom, the issues of inclusiveness. So that's worth having a look at. And then there's the technology. What technology is going to help support you in this communication? There's a lot in that. The platform you use, Zoom is only one. There's many platforms. Do you have a co-host who's going to take care of the technology so you can focus on facilitating or communicating? Of course, there's the sound, the lighting, the background, all of this is important. I've got a list here of collaborative resources that you can explore to enable the communication. But in this session, we're not so much going to focus on that. I'm more interested in this side here, the group dynamics, being aware of managing the group dynamics. You know, your presence is part of that. Of course, you'd share an agenda. I have, you know, ground rules, meeting and checking in, the engagement exercises you choose to use. Bringing your creativity to this is really important. You know, it can often get lost in this square box. You know, I've noticed we just have really returned to that, you know, default of, you know, just focusing on content rather than being aware of this whole other level of communication. Yeah, and then sensing into what's happening, energy, listening, relationship, and in the end, we're developing trust. And trust is intimate. And so that's where we need to move more and more, especially in this realm, and to allow that. And there are certain practices to allow that. So that's an overview. And I'd like to, in the time we've got, which is relatively short, and I will send you that because there's some great resources there. We're going to look at this other area, the sensing, the energy, the feelings state, because that's often not looked at, and not and I found, you know, in my you know, experience in this pursuit of bringing the body and playfulness into how we communicate, that people like the idea of it, but often struggle with how to actually do it because, well, for different reasons. Yeah. So we're going to in the time, start stepping into that place together. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to listen, focus on voice a little bit. So I'm going to actually invite everyone to turn off your screen. So we don't have any visuals. We're just going to listen for a moment. So let's all turn off our videos. And just even be in this silence for one moment. Notice the impact. In fact, through all of what we experience within these next exercises, I invite you to at once experience them and also be aware, bring an awareness to what is the impact in terms of engagement and intimacy and relationship in this medium that we're connecting within. So silence is one of them. Now, we'll take a deep breath in, and on the out breath, I invite everyone to unmute. And I know this goes against the norm of Zoom, but I've been playing more and more with actually unmuting, because we're going to bring in our voice. So unmute, and then breathe in, and on the out breath, let's just bring out a little sigh. Do we start to hear people? And now bring in a little growl. Arr.
Arr, 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 arr,
A little meow. 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 A little moo. And now we're going to say hello to each other. And you'll say hello 3 times.
Hello.
And at different hello. So let's say hello to each other and just listen to the different hellos.
Hello.
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 Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Bonjour.
Hello.
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 Hi.
Hello. Hi. Hi. Hello.
Hi there.
Hi.
Howdy.
Hola.
Okay, wonderful. So let's turn on the videos again. And I'm interested to hear what you notice just in playing around with that, with the voice, which is another really important element of online communication. Is what did you notice?
So if somebody wants
Couple
to
of
raise
things
their hand, we can
raise their hand or
raise a
write in the
physical
chat.
hand. Yeah. Someone wrote, it really freaked out her cat. I think that was Allison's cat was like, I'm not having this. I don't want you to do that on Zoom anymore. That is a no. That is a Zoom no.
That's hilarious, the sensitivity.
So Lori just wrote, I really listened more deeply to each voice.
Yes.
Lisa just shared that her cats are sleeping. So that's a good Zoom hack, is to feed them before you get onto Zoom. Thank you for that, Lisa.
Yes.
Ben said how a lot of the voices seem to harmonize. Oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
That they kind of maybe match pitch.
Yeah.
As
Yes.
speaking. That's kind of really cool.
That's right. Yes. And that's what I've noticed. I did this with 60 people the other day. So, and it is, there's a movement through this. First of all, it's very chaotic, you know, because we're all very excited. And, oh my goodness. And then slowly we settle and start to listen, and there's more spaces and the voices as Ben said, there's a natural harmony that occurs that is really powerful. And if we're, you know, I'm particularly interested, as I said, I intentionally brought that in to enable us to start to build this intimacy, because voice is so important. And so often in Zoom, everyone's muted straight away. And I know there are reasons and there are times to do that with background noise, etc. But yeah, great point, Ben.
So Erin
Yes, it is
said,
like music.
yeah, she felt more connected. Kathleen said yes and happy. What I thought was really interesting, Johanna, is that like at first it was like, this is weird. That like that judgment, there's like
Yes,
a piece of
yes,
judgment that shows up, this is strange, this is weird, how it's gonna work. And then somebody starts and then somebody else starts and then everybody
yes,
jumps in. And then it
yeah,
just becomes so playful. Like we give ourselves permission to just have
yes,
so much more fun. So it's interesting how we like we ride that wave.
yes, yeah,
And
absolutely.
and I hear, like, I think when the cameras came on, everybody was smiling.
Yes, yeah.
Everybody
And
was
interesting, we
smiling.
didn't, yeah, yeah. And there's a couple of things in that, Eduardo. You know, we're breaking a norm. And so, you know, if you're looking to include some of this, you know, there is a certain level of risk and bravery and courage to break that norm. There's an excitement in that, and a setting up and reassuring people to keep moving with you. Yeah, that's a really great point. We'll sparklate on that.
Yeah. You can
Courage
self-sparkle like
to
Johanna.
show. So so we've started to meet and connect and listen to the voice, which is, as I say, really powerful. And I noticed someone said in the chat, um, you know, how you listen more intently. So at times it's great to do that, you know, just turn off the camera. If you've got something you really want to land with people, turn off the camera, invite people just to hear your voice and speak it with pause, and silence is also golden and powerful. I don't know if you noticed it at the very beginning. I invited us just to feel into that silence, the power of that. Yeah, so beautiful. So we're going to keep meeting, because what we're doing here is meeting and greeting, and we're going to have a little play with the whiteboard. Now, I always love the whiteboard moment, and me and Deb and Eduardo have all had a lot of fun with the whiteboard. And I don't know if, I think we use the whiteboard on your fifth, and I'm not sure if everyone knows how to do this. So I'll talk us through, but I'm sharing my screen and I'm sharing a whiteboard. If you take your mouse up to the top of your screen and find view options and drop down box annotate, and do reach out if you can't, because different devices on iPads, I'm pretty sure it's up the top under share content. I'm pretty sure on iPhones you can't do it, I'm afraid. You might just have to observe. Oh, here we go, we're grabbing it. So if you can't, do reach out. By now, hopefully the whiteboard's been used quite a bit now in Zoom. So we're going to start drawing, and I'm going to bring, alongside having fun with drawing, bring some intention into this. So the intention is to communicate something of how you're feeling at the moment as you sit here. We'll use it as a check-in. How are you feeling right now? Find a way to either draw it, write it, get creative with communicating to us all your feeling state as we check in. Use the color. Different, if you go up to the format, you can use all that different color. So got a lot of joy, a lot of love, a lot of sparkle. People are saying hi, ticking. And then, yes, we can also go, what I'm going to do, once I can get to what's going on here. Here we are. I'm going to show names of annotators. So we'll start to see who is writing and drawing, and put faces to put names to imagery. And this is another area that I invite you to lean into in terms of Zoom communication is the power of imagery to connect us, to deepen communication and ideas. Wonderful. It's looking beautiful. They always do. I love the whiteboard. I've had some wonderful, and I've used the whiteboard, yeah, and Deb was making the point, you know, you don't only need to use the whiteboard in this way, of course. You can use it to share and write, you know, messages or make key points that you need to make. On the PDF I share with you, there's a whole lot of other resources you can use now to do something similar. And also as a debrief, it's a lot of fun at the end of a process. And then you've got something you can share with the group that's fun to do. And also, you know, you have a representation of the time together. Playful, wonderful.
Johanna, I think
Good.
so. Just quickly, so from your experience, so iPhones, people can't do it from an iPhone.
No, iPhones, you no.
But
Pardon,
can
you
iPads,
can't.
are iPads?
iPads, yes. If you go up the top of your iPad, I think it says you'll get share content option, and then I'm pretty sure it's in there. You can find the annotate tool, and down the bottom you should find a little pen icon. It's very clumsy, isn't it? Up the top, down the bottom. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's how you. I actually don't have an iPad, but I have had done a little bit of research and found that. But iPad, no. On an Android phone, you can too. You'll find the share content. You click that. Is anyone using it? It'd be good to know if anyone's using either of those.
It looks
and
like
has found it.
Lori is using an iPad. Lori?
And has she found the annotate? Has been able to found the annotate?
Yeah, you do go to share content, click it. It says you can't do anything. Then look below. You'll see the pen in the
Great.
lower left-hand corner.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually,
Thanks.
Diana
so.
just shared that she used this on. She just did it from her iPhone 6 Plus.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Wow. Is that this?
Sure
That would be interesting to know. Was
I'm
that
on my computer? So it seems like she did it on her. She was the exception to the rule. Congratulations, Diana.
They fantastic. That's, you know, they're
Um,
always changing it. I mean, this technology is, you know, it's just evolving at a rate of knots. Look, that is beautiful. We'll keep that and we'll share it. I'll share this, but we are going to move on, and it is always tricky to move on from the whiteboard because people love it, you know, so it's a great engagement tool, you know, and opens up, you know, the impact of opening up people's playfulness, and it's quite a safe way to do that, you know, opens up their willingness to step in somewhere different as well. So that's a really great, you know, tool to do that when you're thinking about that. Now we're going to bring in. I'm going to play.
Johanna, I just want to say that apparently Shanam just found it on her iPhone 10 Max that there's a pencil sign on the left side too. So it looks like iPhones
are
thank you. Able to do that. Just because, again, in the,
that's
in the
great to know.
Inclusivity, just acknowledging that we're not biased towards iPhone users.
That
iPhone users don't get to play, and they're scolded in the corner.
Good point.
You know.
That's right. You can just watch. Be a good iPhone user now. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to invite everyone to let's go on gallery view, everyone. We're going to play a little game. It's a very short game, quite a fun game to start exploring and playing with. You might want to bring this in. Everyone knows rock, paper, scissors? Yep. Okay, so there's, you know, rock, paper, scissors. We're going to play that as a group. What's going to happen is you're going to choose one other person. You're not going to tell them, but you're going to choose somebody and you're going to be playing against them. Yep. But they don't know and they don't need to know. But I'm going to count us in and all at once, and we need to be visible. So make sure we can all see it. I'm going to count us in 1, 2, 3, and we're all going to, you know, do something, and you're playing against someone. If you lose, you turn your camera off. So eventually we'll end up with just 2 people playing against each other.
Johanna,
okay?
I have a quick question. Do we change person every time? or do we always?
No, you're going to win or you're going to lose.
No, but
The
so I'm
first draw,
saying,
you're going to win or lose.
right, but then do I pick a new person for the next?
No, when you lose, you turn your camera off.
Okay, got it. Okay, great.
Yeah.
I think I got it.
Yep. So you're going to choose one other person. You're playing against them. If you lose, you turn your camera off, and then we'll eventually end up. Okay, let's have a play. We'll have a play with it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. So if you lose, you turn your camera off. Okay, great. 1, 2, 3. If you lose, you turn your camera off.
Johanna, what happens if the person that you were playing against got out?
Oh, I see what you mean. Then you choose
A new
someone
person.
else. Yes,
Yeah, you're
good
constantly
point.
picking a new person. Okay,
Yes,
great.
pardon me. Yes.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
Nice.
Great point. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Okay. 1,
Wait, 'cause you don't.
1, 2, 3, go. One, two, three.
Got it.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Nora, what did you do?
I think it's a scissor.
It's a tie. You're in it. So it looks like it's between you two. 1,
Allison and
2,
Nora.
3. Yay, Nora. Oh no, who? What? Yeah.
Allison.
No. Yes,
Allison.
Allison's the winner.
She's fast.
I only stayed in
Fabulous.
so long
So
because when I chose, we do the same thing. I was too connected with everyone.
Fabulous. Great.
So Lisa, I'm
So-
sorry. It looks like we skipped over the rules of rock, paper, scissors with Lisa, but Lisa was totally in. She was like, I'm trusting this process.
Sorry.
And I love it. So
Good on you, Lisa.
so
I
Lisa,
do
thank you for
apologize.
saying
It's
yes.
always
Thank you for saying yes.
Yeah. Thank you for saying yes and hanging in there. And that is, that's a lesson in inclusivity and making assumptions. The power of that. I just made an assumption there that everyone knows rock, paper, scissors. It's always, I'm always learning that and relearning that. So thanks for hanging in there, and so sorry to have left you out. So rock, paper, scissors, there's tons of games like that to just bring in at different points to shift up the dynamics and the energy. And, it's really powerful to do that. And also, there's a sensing into that when that needs to happen, of course. Okay, we're going to do a little, bring some body into this. And what we're going to do, I'm going to invite 4 people. Would 4 people volunteer themselves just because they're going to lead us in this? Who would be the 4 people who would lead us?
Warn us what we're volunteering for.
Oh, we're just doing a little bit of simple movement. It's very simple movement. Thank you. Yeah. Very simple movement. Would 4 people? Thanks, Linda. So Linda's number 1.
Johanna
Linda's number 1.
Joining us.
Joanna, you're
Johanna
number 2.
said yes. Yeah.
So Joanna, you're number 2. Linda's number 1. Would someone else be willing? We just need 2 more. Kathleen, you'll be number 3. And then Tara.
Tara's number 4.
Tara, you're number 4. Okay. So number 1 is she's going to just move one hand, and we're all going to mirror what Linda does with that one hand. So you just do it for a little while, and we'll all do what she does with that hand. So, okay, we can do that now. Let's all just do that now. So just watch Linda, whatever she does. Oh, she suddenly moved.
She moved, yeah. Where'd she go? I've lost Linda. Oh, there she is.
Oh, that's 2 hands. Okay, so that's Hugh. We're going to move on to number 2. So that's Johanna. You're going to use 2 hands, and we're going to watch and mirror you. So we'll move on to number 3 now, because that's happening naturally. We're bringing in the hands and the face, and we're starting to bring in the body. So that's Kathleen. Okay, great. So now you can start to feel. No, so this is number 4. This is Tara. You're going to bring in the whole body, and we're going to mirror exactly what you do. So this will just notice this feeling when we bring in the whole body. So bring in the whole body, and that means stand up out of your chair, Tara, as well. We're all going to, that's it. And then Tara, you can start to play with the frame if you're able to. That's great. Okay, wonderful. Thanks so much. Good. Bravo.
Yes.
So
Elevated sparkle-ish.
great. Wonderful. Exciting. Marvelous. So let's have a little bit of reflection here on what are you noticing? What is, my invitation was to notice the impact
It feels more
in
like,
terms of, you know, thinking, feeling. Go on.
Lisa.
I feel more like
Lisa?
we're a group, like we're all
Yes.
together.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's fascinating, isn't it? Because we haven't talked a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so it's great to be starting to be conscious of that. What are the elements that created that sense of alignment? Because of course, you know, if you're moving into, you know, groups and teams, that's what you want. Yet we took away all the slides and the talking. So what are some of the elements we've been using to do that?
We're connected. We were all connected.
Yeah, yeah. And what's something that we use to get connected?
Creativity.
Yep, that's right, bringing in creativity and engaging with creativity.
Play.
We're using our bodies. We're using our
Using
bodies.
the bodies.
Yeah.
Yes.
And mirroring each other. So getting in tune with each other through mirroring.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And there's some beautiful things to do. Actually, we could take that one step further, the mirroring. I think let's do that, because it'll take us into another level of intimacy. So what you're going to do is you're going to choose someone. We'll pair up. So who could we? Let's pair up. Let's do, if we could, Alison and Kathleen. So you're going to pin each other's video to one another. Now I won't make the assumption we all understand how to do that. So your Zoom screen up the top right, there's the 3 dots. You drop that down and you'll find pin video. So you go to the person that you're paired with and you pin their video to you. Does it make sense? Yep. So we'll do Nora and Tara. So Nora, you'll pin Tara's video to you. You'll go to Tara's screen, you'll drop down the box and you'll find pin video and you'll pin each other. So Nora and Tara, Laurie and Diana. So Laurie, you'll pin Diana. Diana, you'll pin Laurie. Let's do Deborah and Johanna. And do Linda and Eduardo. Lisa and Tanya. Ben and Valerie. Monica and Erin, if you're able to, Erin. So pin each other's video, and the invitation here, so you're really just watching each other, is to start mirroring each other and enjoy the journey with it, meeting each other.
Hi.
You can bring in sound if you like.
Hi.
I don't know how to pin you, but I can see you right now. So.
Oh, are you on the phone, Erin?
I am. It's not very
okay, so
easy. I don't know.
Yeah, it's sometimes tricky, and again, I don't know how to direct you through that. But Monica, you and I can we'll pin each other.
Hi.
Can you see each other? There you go.
Yeah, I can see her. I found her. I found you.
Okay.
Oh. Yay.
Yay.
Yay, big.
Yay.
Like virtual hugging. It's like virtual hugging.
Oh, yeah.
Hugging.
Oh, I'm hugging you.
Oh,
We can hug ourselves, yeah.
oh well. Oh.
It's so fantastic to watch this. Has everyone found it? Diana and Laurie, have you found it? Oh, you can't find each other there with the, you go to the Diana's screen, top right, the three little boxes, drop down, pin her video. If not, just maybe look at each other now and play around with it instead of, that's the try. That's it.
So I'm surrendering, Dorothy. Surrender, Dorothy.
Okay. Okay, let's pause there because we're getting close to the time. So you can see it. What did you see? What did you experience? I can see it's very hard to stop, isn't it? Again, it's like the whiteboard, that the ability to take us somewhere different with each other. Or what did you notice? I'm interested to hear. What was your experience? Valerie?
What is like the Simon Says?
Yeah.
Look, Simon Says. For those who may not know, that is.
Yeah,
exactly.
And that would be a good game to play with the whole group, by the way.
I noticed you gave us a reason not to look at ourselves.
I noticed a resonance.
Sorry, we'll just pause. Sorry, Linda. Nora, you were saying?
Resonance. Eduardo and I felt like in resonance, like I could touch him and feel him. Like I felt more of an energetic connection.
Yes.
And that I felt a lot of warmth and love. Just being able to do this with him. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it's that dropping into more intimacy.
Absolutely.
And seeing. Yes, Nora.
Something I've gotten is that people say, I don't want to leave the camera on because I don't like looking at myself. And I noticed that having us focus on someone else and focus on different how to focus on others, not on ourselves. I didn't see me at all, especially in the group activities. So I think
that's a great point.
Oh dear, my hair doesn't look good, or my glasses reflect, or what all that bullshit that we come up with all the time. So.
Yeah. And you can hide your video too in Zoom. So you can, in the drop down box, you can, hide self view. I do that often. So I don't, because I get sick of looking at myself, and it's such a hard, it's such a strong default to do on Zoom. You end up looking at yourself. So I hide myself so I can focus on everyone else. So it's up the top. Yeah. Yes.
Can you see me? Because I can't see
Yes,
me.
Nora?
Can you see?
We can see you.
I can't
Yes,
see.
yes, yeah,
Behind you because you don't notice. Cool trick. Very cool trick.
yeah, yeah.
I like
So
them.
remember, well, you just click it again, and you'll come back.
I'm not there, so I can't click it. Oh well.
So Johanna, I want to acknowledge it's 5:57, so we're
Yes,
we're
yes,
wrapping
yes,
up. So
yes.
just first of all, Johanna, thank you so much for this presentation. This was like so much fun. Elevated sparkle. I think Lisa just said, "Do you have a book on this?" I think like there has to be.
Wow.
But
There we go. Maybe that's the next move.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What? Okay.
Absolutely.
I'll
Diana
let's-
is in Melbourne, and she's like, "What a great way to start the day." Absolutely, and it's a great way to finish the day too. I feel like this is exactly the kind of palate cleanser that I wanted, and I think it's such a disruptor to how, you know,
Yes.
the very heady, rational way.
Yep. Yes.
I'll say masculine way in which we look at being on Zoom, which is like top
Yes.
down, focus energy, da-da-da-da-da.
Yes.
And I think that we
Yes.
can just surrender and allow there to be play and joy. And I love introducing Simon Says or rock, paper, scissors. I think connecting us to our bodies, connecting to joy is such a
Yes.
helpful medicine, considering all that we're dealing with currently in this world.
Yeah, it's totally, and I'm going to just share this other slide because this is really, this imagery to me speaks to that, which I invite you to think about, to loosen and blend rationality and logic with feeling, sensing, playfulness, and imagination. You know, that's when we start to light up all our intelligences, because we've got so many intelligences we don't engage. So yeah, that's my invitation, and I love that invitation of a book. In the interim, I will send you this information for you to follow up with that goes over some of these ideas I've explored and some resources.
Great. Yeah.
Johanna, thank you so much. Elevated Sparkulation. Thank you all.
Thank you. Brilliant. So lovely to be here with you and
chat. This is recorded,
Awesome.
so we'll have it on YouTube. We'll share the links. We'll also reach out to everyone who registered with Johanna's information and also the resources that she provided. So you'll all have that to also play with. We have a series that are coming up. Our next Fearless Chat next Thursday is with Kristen Scanlon. We're going to talk about vision boarding. So we're like moving into creativity. And then after that, we have Jess Grippo, and we're going to talk about body and movement as revolution. So that's going to be hot to trot. That's going to be really exciting. Really thrilled for that. And then Deborah and Johanna, just an opportunity. So for specifically with our Australia audience, we have this new series called Moving Fearlessly, which Johanna and Deborah co-host. So that's on Tuesday evenings, New York time or Eastern Standard Time, and also 8 a.m. or 6 p.m. Eastern time.
Australia, yeah.
And then 8 a.m. Australia time on Tuesdays. And then on Wednesdays in Australia.
No,
Wednesday mornings, Australia, Tuesday evenings, Eastern Standard Time. And what is that topic? The next one is that hot pizza?
Hot pizza.
Hot pizza.
Hot pizza. It's one of our fearless women did a whole
fantastic
talk. She went to go see a therapist. She was very unhappy in a marriage. And he said to her, if I were to go to a restaurant and serve you cold pizza, would you eat cold pizza? And she said, I'd eat cold pizza. And he said, you deserve hot pizza. So she's like, I deserve hot pizza. So she like started looking at all the places in her life that she was receiving and eating cold pizza. And she was like, I'm done eating cold pizza. I want hot pizza. So that's what her talk is going to be about. She's extraordinary. Her name is Christy Samios. So so we'll also share that with you about that opportunity. And we have a final ritual here that we have to complete our Fearless chat series. So I know we are at time. If you do have to hop off and go, we invite you to obviously take off and go do the things that you have to do. And if you have a couple more minutes, again, there's a little final ritual that we have here for to end our Zoom sessions, which is actually inspired by Johanna de Ruyter. She actually brought that into our practice here in our Fearless Chats. And also, I think it was you, Johanna, who talked about the importance of hands.
Oh, yes, I forgot to mention, yes. Yes.
Do you want to talk about that quickly and the importance
of
hands?
They're important. Yeah, no. Okay. Just, they get overlooked. The potency of hands, the in terms of communication, there's so many different areas that they hit. But one of them I was talking with the last chat I did, in terms of our very old reptilian brain, that really unconscious fight, flight, survival brain. If we don't see people's hands, we have less trust of them because we don't know on some level if they've got a dagger or they're going to get us. Basically, that's, you know, the raw kind of hard, cold facts. So I always invite people to show your hands at some point. On Zoom and in any clip, you know, since learning that, I always bring my hands, and I notice the difference in terms of, and when you start moving into this area of sensing, I definitely notice the difference in terms of sensing a trust that opens up. So, yep, beautiful thing to show your hands.
Zoom hack that nobody talks about, right? The importance of hands, seeing people's hands. And after you said that, it was like, I think that because we begin with elevated sparkleation and we're also showing people hands.
Yeah.
I think people feel welcome, they feel invited, there's trust.
Yeah.
So, so there is neuroscience to back these things up.
Yes.
That's awesome. I speak with my hands all the time when I'm talking, so now I'm just feeling very happy that I do. I can't help it.
Yeah.
So, in this space, Kathleen, sorry.
Are hands ever a distraction? Like, you know,
they can be a distraction, but yeah, that's where, in terms of my model, if you come back to intention, very important. What's your intention in using them? So be intentional, not unconscious. So there's a tension there to explore. Yeah, good point.
So beautiful. Thank you, Johanna, for that coda on hands. And now, as we're here, the invitation is if everybody can just show their hand quickly. So what's going to happen is one by one, we're just going to acknowledge each other. You're going to say somebody by name, and you're going to say, I see you, and I thank you. And then you're going to pass it on to somebody else. And the invitation is after you've been seen, then you lower your hand so that we don't call you again. Okay? So I'm going to begin. Johanna, I see you, and thank you.
Monica, I see you and I thank you.
Linda, I see you and I thank you.
Valerie, I see you and I thank you.
Lisa, I see you and I thank you.
Valerie, I see you and I thank you.
You've got it twice, Valerie.
Oh, so let's do the same person.
That's okay. That's nice. That's all good. It's all good.
Yes, honey. Lisa, Valerie's receiving the extra love today.
Okay. Yes. Kathleen, I see you and I thank you.
Deborah, I see you and I thank you.
Laurie, I see you and I thank you.
Linda Reed, I see you and I thank you.
Ben, I see you and I thank you.
Aaron, I see you and I thank you.
Eduardo, I see you and I thank you.
Nora, I see you and I thank you.
Johanna, I see you and I thank you.
Diana, I see you and I thank you.
I think everyone's gone.
No, she's muted. She's muted. Diana's muted.
I see everybody and I thank them.
Yes! Yes! Beautiful. Thank you all so much. Have a beautiful day.
Sleep well.
A beautiful weekend. And we look forward to seeing you next Thursday for some vision boarding. And then the Thursday after that for some embodiment as revolution. Yeah.
Thanks so much for the
Bye. Do we have to bring creative activities for next week for the vision board?
We'll let you know. We'll let you know once we get the instructions. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you, Lisa. So great to see you. Johanna, just stick around for a quick
Thank you, Eduardo and Johanna.
Thank you, Joanna.
Ciao. Thanks, Diana.
It's amazing.
Come on.